What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. I'm going to take a little bit of a Monday here to talk U.S. politics. With the election coming up in the United States, I think it's important that we take a look at what's happening as a Canadian, especially because, again, I've said it millions of times, what happens in America often affects what happens and trickles down into Canada when it comes to our elections. Now, we're sitting at the precipice of a possible federal election being called before Christmas, if we get things the way we think we're going to get them. Now, what's looking to happen in the United States is starting to get alarming because we've all seen how the mainstream prostitutes try to bury the reality of what's actually happening in our elections. So let's take a look over at the map here, the projected map so far of consensus for the United States. You've got it mostly Republican, mostly red, with Florida obviously staying Republican. You've got Texas staying Republican. And now keep in mind, these are light. So these are likely. Safe states are states like Alabama. You've got Tennessee. You've got Kentucky. You've got North Dakota, South Dakota. You've got Montana, Idaho. Again, all staying Republican. The ones that are toss-ups, again, usual toss-ups, you've got Pennsylvania. You've got your Michigans, your Wisconsins, your Nevadas, Arizonas, Georgia, North Carolina. Again, these are all the problem states from the last election where we saw questionable behavior, we'll say. I know YouTube hammers you down. But one of the things that happened over the weekend while Kamala Harris was on her Media Blitz tour, she showed a little bit of her true colors. Now, I've often talked about Kamala Harris and her earbuds where she was wired in during the debate. A very one-sided debate, I might add. It's definitely not biased. While she was being fed information. Now, she's always got a teleprompter. She's always got somebody in her ear. And you can always tell when she doesn't. She often gets stumbled up and trips all over herself. I'm going to show you this clip, and then I'm going to show you where she stumbled this weekend. Let's take a look at what happened with Kamala Harris. So she's talking about the significance of time.
The governor and I, and we were all doing a tour of the library here, and talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
I'm sorry, Kamala. In the dictionary under redundant, it says see redundant. I mean, the significance about being significant is that it's significant in itself for the significance of significance. I mean, that's essentially what she's saying. It makes no sense. And what I just said makes no sense, but this is logic when people like Kamala Harris stumble and they don't know what to say. They don't have their speeches prepared, or they don't have somebody in their ear telling them what to say. Now, where she really got hammered this weekend was when her teleprompter went down. Spot the moment when the teleprompter malfunctioned, states a tweet. Let's take a look here. Let's see if you guys can pick it out.
Remember his number, 32. Today we got 32 days until the election. So 32 days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it. And this is going to be a very tight race until the very end.
I'm sorry to laugh in the middle of the clip, but this is where it's hilarious, is that Kamala Harris, she said, well, it's 32 days, guys. 32 days. 32. Yep. 32 days. She's stalling. She doesn't know what to say. The teleprompter is clearly gone. Now, usually I would say at these rallies or these events, while she does have people behind her, that's a significant passage of time, by the way. You can also tell if people are cheering or people are jarring her on, that again, maybe she'll be quiet. Maybe she'll stumble over what she has to say. Maybe she'll try to regroup and think about what she's saying. But again, the room is mostly silent. I don't know how many people were at this rally. I would probably go to guess that it's a fraction of what Donald Trump had, because Donald Trump completely owning Kamala Harris over the weekend by having Elon Musk come out not only in support of Donald Trump, but giving a very, very important speech about the importance of registering to vote, getting out to vote, because a lot of states now are wanting to go without identification. California, in fact, just passing laws in order to secure their stolen elections in the future by saying you no longer have to produce ID in order to vote in the state of California. At least by my understanding, that's what they're doing. Elon Musk goes into great detail to talk about it, but I want to highlight here the difference, where you can see Donald Trump's got his teleprompter over to the right of the screen, his left. But just listen to this crowd in comparison to Kamala Harris's quiet crowd.
His name is Elon Musk. He saved free speech. He created so many different great things. Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Just take over.
Hi, everyone. As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA. Well, first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here. And, you know, the true test of someone's character is how they behave under fire. And we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight, fight, fight! Blood coming down the face. Now, America is the home of the brave. And there's no truer test than courage under fire. So who do you want representing America? Yeah, absolutely. And I think this election, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime. This is no ordinary election. The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to bear arms. They want to take away your right to vote effectively. You've got 14 states now that don't require voter ID. California, where I used to live, is just passed a law banning voter ID for voting. I still can't believe that's real. So how are you supposed to have a proper election if there's no ID? It's just meaningless. And free speech is the bedrock of democracy. And if people don't know what's going on, if they don't know the truth, how can you make an informed vote? You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment.
Now, I'm not going to show the whole 6-minute speech. Again, I wanted to lay the groundwork as to why this is important, because again, when you hear about what Kamala Harris is trying to do to Americans, does it not remind you up here in Canada what we're facing here? This is where I say we're not very different when it comes to America and Canada, aside from some significance in the weather, I guess, the significant passage of time. But we're essentially just a border separating the two of us. And it's so funny that any time, especially over this last summer, when I go down to Idaho, when I go down to Washington State, that the people there understand Canadians and what they're going through because they're very close to the border. They talk with a lot of Canadians, and usually people try not to mix politics, but you can't help it in today's society by talking about the craziness that's going on in the world. Now, luckily in America, they have the Declaration of Independence. It protects, their amendments protect their free speech. It protects their right to bear arms. Where in Canada, Justin Trudeau is trying to silence us on the internet. He's trying to take away our ability to find certain things on the internet, our ability to search the internet by essentially making it a dictatorship that only government-approved content can get through the airwaves. You've got the government also trying to say that hunters aren't allowed to have rifles anymore, that we're not allowed to have any firearms. And of course, when you take those things away from people, it's so that they can't defend themselves when the government comes knocking on their door. That's what we're seeing here. Now, those things could possibly start to take shape in America by some different means. Not to say that they're going to infringe upon the amendments, but there are regulations that could be brought in that threaten those amendments for Americans. You've got Kamala Harris threatening to make X illegal. She is going to ban platforms like Twitter/X should she become president of the United States. Meanwhile, you've got guys like Donald Trump who essentially just love their country, who are running. I'm going to remind you guys, he didn't take a penny out of his pay scale when he was president last term. I think it's fabulous to see Elon Musk standing up. I think it's great to see crowds supporting Donald Trump. And I can sincerely hope that if we ever help to get things back on track in Canada, that we see Donald Trump at the helm, working alongside Pierre to try and make some deals happen, get rid of some of these bogus tariffs that I know Donald Trump put some of them in place, but it was because he had a weak leader to negotiate. I'd like to see Donald and Pierre hit the table and try and figure out ways that America can be prosperous, Canada can be prosperous, because when we can all work together, ladies and gentlemen, we reap the benefits. We could be a powerhouse between Canada and the United States. Our GDPs could be through the roof. Our dollar value could be through the roof. And we could be one of the two most securest nations on the planet if we just had competent leadership. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think Kamala Harris is showing who's pulling her strings, that she can't read unless those who are in charge of her political future are writing them for her? Or do you honestly believe that this was just a slip up in her defense? And do you think this is really in relation to what Canada's facing? Do you think that we're going to see a lot of shenanigans when it comes to Canada's election? Don't forget that Calgary, where I'm from, is now in talks about trying to remove paper ballots from elections, despite the premier saying that we are going to remain with paper ballots because we don't want false elections. Well, we have an installed mayor in our city who essentially wants to remove that so that they can rig all of our elections. So again, what affects one affects the other. And what we're seeing in the United States is definitely very similar to Canada. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video down below. I know, again, some people get a little heated when I cover American politics, but guys, it's getting down to the line here on the U.S. election. We have to start covering some of these stories. We have to start talking about these things. Again, with us being on the precipice of a possible election very soon, we have to talk about how these things affect each other and how what happens in the U.S. could affect Canada. Let me know if you want to see more, and if you enjoyed this content down below in the comments. If you're here, make sure to give a thumbs up. And if it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. We're climbing our way to 50,000 subscribers. I'd love to shatter that by the end of the month and continue to grow this amazing community with you guys. So if you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Again, make sure you also click your bell for notifications and join me live here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, my live streaming show where we talk about everything that's happened this week in politics, everything coming up in the week ahead, as well as some back and forth within our community. I always enjoy listening to what you guys have to say outside of making these videos and sitting down with my wife, Mrs. Fringe, hearing what you all want to talk about each and every Friday here on the channel. And I look forward to seeing you all there, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central here every Friday night. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.